Morning.
Good morning, sunshine. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Your hair looks
Good.
nice and wet, and mine is wild and crazy this morning. So, but that means you got time to take a shower this morning. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna close my curtains behind my
No, you're fine.
head here.
I need to do the same. Actually, my blinds are open. But good morning. How are you? Doing well. Good. We're gonna wait for. We've got a couple people that should jump on here, but they're always late. So we'll give them a couple minutes. How was your weekend? Either of you?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Good.
Good. Yes. Got my office completely situated.
Nice. It's
Yes.
a very good feeling. I usually have my background blurred because my office is a mess. It's a disaster. It is the dumping ground for everywhere in our house. Like when no one can figure out where to put something, they just shove it in my office. And it's awful for me. It's cluttered. It drives me insane. I have no peace in here.
Yeah.
So and even my assistant, I'm like, okay, this week we're gonna work on my office. And I think she just disappears that week. Like she never comes over to help with the office. I don't think she wants to. She doesn't even know where to start. So
Sure.
it's that bad. But I know how the feeling is when you finally get your office situated and organized. It feels really nice. Although I haven't felt that in a while. But anyway, let's see. I'm glad that you found. Tell me your first name again. I forgot. I see your last name, but I forgot your first name.
Mine?
Yeah.
Bonnie.
Bonnie, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Forgive me. I was like, I was on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't quite remember. Well, I'm glad you
You're
could
fine.
join us. I'm glad
Thank
you
you.
found us. This week, we're actually talking about lead magnets and how to use them in your business. I decided to move the event planning part to next week. I had it all combined into one, but event planning is so big and I have so many ideas and there's a lot to talk about with that this would just be too much to do in a combined session. So next week, we'll actually do event planning and I'm going to teach you what kinds of events you should do, how to extract business from those events, and kind of give you a checklist for event planning and how to pull it off without costing yourself $1 million. So
That would be awesome.
Great.
yeah. So I think you guys will like that being its own session instead of combined with this one anyway. Claire, hi, good morning. I was just explaining that next week we're going to do event planning. I had it combined as this session all into one, but that's too much. And it's such an important session that I want it to have its own week. So we're going to do event planning next week. This week is on lead magnets. And so here's what I want to say about lead magnets real quick. I do not claim to be like an expert guru. Kim, you already know my technological skills are like sort of, but they're not crazy. But you know, I can get by. I actually think I'm pretty tech savvy, but you know, when it comes to lead magnets, it does require a little bit of technical skill unless you have like KV Core as your website provider. You know, lead magnets are a little bit harder for other people who don't use KV Core as their CRM and their website. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But the reason I say that is because KV Core will allow you to make unlimited landing pages very easily. And so, I mean, it's a click of two buttons and you can create a landing page, attach a PDF and call it a day. But if you don't use KV Core as your primary CRM and website, you kind of have to go around offering lead magnets in a different way. And so we're going to talk about that in just a second. But I'll just tell you my disclaimer is I'm not an expert at this. And even though this session is on lead magnets and sponsored ads, the sponsored ads can be very tricky and it is very technical and there's a lot to learn. And I don't want you to be overwhelmed. So I'm not trying to give you a 3-hour dissertation on running sponsored ads. But I'm going to tell you enough to be dangerous and then just tell you if you're really interested in running a lot of sponsored ads, you should probably hire somebody to do that or use a templated plug and play that's real simple that you just put in your information. It already creates the ad for you. Running sponsored ads is literally a 3-credit graduate class, like all you need to know about the various audiences and how you can duplicate your audiences and how you can do test groups and things like that. There's a lot to learn about it. And so I'm not trying to teach you all of that. I'm just trying to teach you a strategy for generating leads using lead magnets. And you could also increase the visibility of those by using sponsored ads. Okay. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of all the sponsored ads, but I want you to understand the process is a lead magnet. And we're going to talk about what it is in a second, but using the lead magnets is the purpose of it is to generate leads, is to give someone something of value in exchange for their contact information. Okay. Now I will tell you the most effective lead magnets don't ask for their full name, their phone number, their address, their email address. It only asks for their first name and their email address, right? The smallest piece of information you can get in exchange for the thing are the most effective because people will click off of it. They know you're going to call them. They don't want to be harassed. They just want the thing of value that you're offering in exchange for the small piece of information. So keep that in mind, that if you are creating lead magnets and your form has 7 pieces of information for them to fill out to get it, they're likely not going to fill that out. Or you're going to get names like Joe Dirt as a lead name, okay? Or Joe Mama, because that happens all the time, right? So just be aware of the fact that you want to keep your form short. You want to ask for it. And you'll see now a lot of lead generation companies make it really easy because they just say, sign in with Google or sign in with Facebook, and you just click a button and then you can get it. You don't have to type in your information. Those are even better, which is why I said, if you're really going to get into doing this, you may want to hire a third-party company that does something or has a button like that. So it's really easy for your audience to just click on it and download it. Everybody with me there? Okay. I am going to share my screen because I actually do have a presentation for you. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late. I just
got
done with a workout and I am not about to turn this video on.
Girl, it's okay. You're fine. Good job for you for getting a workout in.
Yeah.
All right. Bear with me a second. I hate the Zoom menu at the top because I can't, when I'm trying to share my screen, the menu is always at the top and it drives me insane. So let's see here. I also, I do have a handout for this too. I have a list of lead magnets for you guys, but if I just give it to you now, you won't do the participation part of our little workshop. So I'm going to keep that a secret for a minute. All right. So let's talk real quick. Again, I already told you my disclaimer. I don't claim to be an expert at this. I just know enough to be dangerous to teach others. I will tell you too, if you're going to run sponsored ads, you have to have a business page in order to do that. You cannot run sponsored ads from a regular Facebook page. It has to be from a business page. So just know if you plan on running any sponsored ads, you can't do that from a regular page. All right. So what is a lead magnet? A lead magnet is an irresistible bribe offering a particular item of value to a prospect in exchange for their contact information. So this is something you have that they want so desperately that they're willing to give you their contact information in exchange for it, right? There are plenty of people that do lead magnets that say, for $4.95, you can get my list of whatever. That's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about offering things for free in exchange for their contact information. And remember, I'll say it again, just for Brittany and Rachel's benefit, the less information you ask for, the higher the likelihood the person is going to complete the form. So first name and email address is about all I would ask for. You could ask for their first and last name if you want, but at the very minimum, you need an email address, right? I would love to have their name as well, but if I were only going to ask for one piece of information, it would just be their email address, okay? The other thing about, in order for a lead magnet to work, you must have a landing page that provides relevant, compelling, and an irresistibly fascinating offer. So we're going to talk about this in a second. One of the things that I shared before Rachel and Brittany got on the call is that if your company uses KV Core, You have this beautiful thing built in where you can create unlimited landing pages for things like this. But a lot of CRMs or websites don't have that capability. And so I'm going to teach you how to offer lead magnets without having to have KV Core or without having to have a special CRM or website. But there is a strategy for how you offer your lead magnet. And I've watched agents do it wrong for years and years and years. So I want to make sure I teach you how to do it correctly. Number two, you have to have a clear message that is easily understood. They need to know exactly what it is that they're getting, and that, put in your email and I'll send you my guide, whatever that is. Number three says it has to be a top-notch content that delivers exactly what you're promising. So don't do a bait and switch. Don't promise them that you're going to give them, 10 tips or an ebook and it's one page, something like that. Make sure that you are, whatever you're promising to deliver is what they're getting. There should be some perceived high value. We're going to talk about what kinds of things are high value in a minute, but there should be it's got to be something that they want. Okay. It should be instantly accessible. Do not offer lead magnets that you then have to email them later. It should be something they can download right now, or upon giving the email address, there's a trigger that sends them the link, but it's not something that they have to wait on you to get. That's very important. Just like, think about yourself as a consumer. When you are online and you give your information for something that you want to download it right now, or you want it delivered to your email address immediately. This is not something that you want someone to have to wait for you to get back to your computer to put it together to send to them. Everybody gets that, right? It should be something that demonstrates your expertise or your knowledge. And then the other part is it should be something that solves a real problem that the consumer has. This is going to be the easiest thing when you are thinking about what kinds of lead magnets you should offer. You need to think about what kinds of things do buyers and sellers need to know? What do they want to know in the process? Before they call me, what kinds of things are they thinking about? That's how you're going to discover and determine these are all the things that I can offer to them. But you should be solving a problem that they have, or have information that they need or that they want comfortably without having to call you and talk to you to get it. Does that make sense? Okay. Tips for success. You should know your audience. You should know who it is that wants the item that you are offering. You need to be as specific as possible. Just because it's free doesn't mean it should look like it's free, right? Use Canva, make it look pretty, brand it to you, use colors that are attractive, make sure you check for typos. I cannot tell you how angry I get when I spend money on something yeah, Bonnie's saying yes. How angry I get when I spend money on something and I download it and it's got typos all over it, right? I also cannot stand when, even in the sales page, it has typos on it. It's like, and I get it, we're all human, but if you're going to offer something to somebody that you want someone to give you their information, you need to look professional. So just because it's free doesn't mean it should look free. You do need to create a sense of urgency. If you're offering something that someone wants, you don't want it to look like they can get this 5 years from now, or 3 weeks from now, or that this page is going to be up forever. You want them to think, hey, get my guide while it lasts, while you have access to it. Get this before the holiday, if it's something that's holiday specific. And then also make it easy to digest or consume. Don't write a 300-page document or ebook or a 7-chapter book that you think somebody's going to download and read. They're not. So make it easy to digest. Think more along the lines of checklists, guides, my list, top 7, pick numbers 5, 7, 10, 12, either not 300, not 200. It should be 5 places. My favorite 5 places to get tacos in Nashville. That's a list of 5 places, right? Bonnie's like, I'll take that list. Me too, trust me. But those are the kinds of things I want you to think about. Here's the other part I'm trying to teach you. Do all the things that you offer need to be real estate related? No, because trust me, I'm going to give you my information for a list of places, my favorite hiking trails. I'm going to give you a list for my favorite pizza places, my favorite taco places, best places to drop in a kayak or a canoe. right? Or 5 tourist attractions in Nashville that the locals even have to see, or places like that. But keep your list small, but pick a number, but they do not all have to be real estate related. Okay. You're building what you're doing here is using this to generate leads, but you're using it to also generate a database, generate a list of people to send outgoing communication to in the future. So it doesn't matter how they came in. You're going to tag them how they came into your database. Like this was from a free list of kayak, launches, something like that. That way, later, if you have a property that is in a neighborhood that has a kayak drop in, you can send that listing to them, right? But the goal of this is to create a list. The goal is to get contact information in exchange for information that you have. All right, so let's talk about ideas. And this is where I'm going to ask you guys to try not to talk over each other, which I'm sure won't be an issue because I'll have to wait for you to talk. But I want you to think of some ideas that we could share with each other. So unmute yourself. And if you don't want to talk, you can certainly put it in the chat. But I want you to think of some ideas for lead magnets. And we're not going to take 10 minutes. Don't freak out. But some ideas for lead magnets that you have just based on what I've told you so far. See, I told you wouldn't have to worry about talking over each other. Bonnie, what you got there?
I do a list at open houses that I actually give away
for
like a moving list, people that you should contact before you move.
Sure.
Utilities, magazine subscriptions, just to make sure that everybody knows your new address. So
awesome. So
that might
like
be something.
A moving checklist is perfect. Like things to prepare for your move. That's awesome. That's exactly what I'm talking about. What else?
Any one of those things in the list of collateral that we should have?
Yeah, like some of the collateral things are more specific to you and your business, but I'm thinking like what kinds of things do your buyers and seller clients might want in the future? What do they need? So like Kim, think about if you just moved to Nashville, right? Mm-hmm. What kinds of things would you download off of a realtor's website or that you saw an ad on Facebook that you would download before you moved to a city? What kind of things would be helpful to you? I might want a list of daycares. I might want a list of
schools,
of pediatric dentists, of schools. I might want a list of OBGYNs or hair salons or anything. When you're moving to a new community, you don't know anything. You don't know anywhere, right? So what would you want a list of? I would even find, and this is not on my list, but I'm going to make a note to add it to my list is, things that you need when you move to a new city. So, you need to find a pet sitter. You need to find a hair girl. You need to find, hair girl or guy. You need to find, you need to change your address. Just things that, what do you need when you move? Right. So kind of like,
yeah.
Go ahead, Bonnie. No, you're fine.
It's wacky because we're from the West Coast and like gardening in Tennessee looks totally different.
Right.
So that would be really interesting because we obviously have a lot of outer staters coming to Tennessee.
Right.
Like maybe,
a list of
knowing the seasons or what to plant because I'm in Ridgetop, so it's freaking rocky here.
Yeah.
So everything is in a planter,
I agree with you. So like what can you plant, Tennessee friendly plants for various seasons or something like that. Yeah. And I agree with you wholeheartedly because the soil is different. You plant things at different times. Our weather is so different. All of our annuals right now are going nuts, they don't know what to do. So I think that's a great idea. That would be one I would add to your list. What else?
I've been making a list.
Good.
Of stuff. So one of my ones that I always want to know is where are the oyster happy hours?
Yes. Where can I get oysters?
My husband has a second stomach for oysters. So
me too. That's why I love your husband, because he and I share all the taste for the finer things. Yeah.
Yes. So what money that's a question that my first time buyers always ask. What money are you going to need to buy a house? Because they don't know about inspections and appraisals and all of that stuff. So what are they going to need? What information are you going to need for a lender?
Yes.
Contact a lender.
That's good. A checklist for the lender before you call a lender, what you would need to gather. Good.
because they're usually nervous about calling a lender.
Definitely.
Best brunches around you, easy walking trails, best happy hours in general,
Love it.
recommended vets and pet sitters, dog parks nearby, dog friendly businesses nearby,
I love that.
and best places to buy plants.
Yes, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one, especially since COVID and everyone's become a plant mom. You know, where should I go to get my plants? And Lowe's and Home Depot should not be your only choices. So that's good. I like those. That's a great list, Claire. And you've got a bunch that are on my list. So that's great. I love those. And here's the other part I want to mention about that before I get too excited and move on to something else is here's the thing I want you to think about. That one piece of content, Claire. So let's say I just took one of your lists, like pet friendly businesses in Nashville, right? That one piece of content I can have as a PDF, as a lead magnet. I could do a reel or a TikTok on it. I could create a YouTube video on it. I could write a blog about it. That one piece of content I could probably use about 18 different ways. Right?
That's genius.
So this isn't something you guys have to have a million of. You can take 7 of your ideas and create content for 3 months worth of ways that you can put it out and distribute it. Does that make sense? I think that's beautiful. Brittany or Rachel, either of you have any ideas of lead magnets that you like or that you are thinking of right now? Gonna force you to talk to me. No, guess not. Okay. If you think of something and you want to chime in, just let me know. All right, so I'm going to give you some examples. I do have a list for you that's like 2 pages long. So these are just some, but I want to just talk about them really quickly. 12 mistakes buyers make. So that you can think of things that buyers do wrong. So they don't check out the neighborhood, they don't investigate crime, they don't look into schools, they overpay, they overestimate what repairs are. Just think of mistakes that buyers might make and come up with a list, right? List of first-time home buyer incentives. So get with your lender, find out what programs exist for first-time home buyers, and make a list of those. Are there hero incentives? So, firemen, teacher, police, social workers. There are incentives and programs that exist for those people as well that a lot of them don't know exists, right? There are programs that cops and teachers can buy in certain neighborhoods and get their down payment paid for free, right? But you need to investigate what these are and come up with a flyer for it or some kind of PDF for it or something. A neighborhood report. So take a neighborhood that has a lot of incentives, like amenities like walking trails, tennis courts, basketball courts, clubhouses, whatever, and put together, here's all you need to know about McKay's Mill. And it's a little PDF. So if somebody's shopping, thinking about relocating to Nashville and they come across that neighborhood, guess what's also going to come up in the searches if you use keywords like that. So a neighborhood report. For us that are local, because this is recorded for some of my other folks, InfoSparks and Fast Stats are 2 of your statistics reporting. Inside RealTracks, you go up to statistics, or you go up to reports and then go to statistics, and you will see InfoSparks and Fast Stats. I teach a whole class on that, so I'm not going to dive too deeply into it, but you can, if that could be a lead magnet that you could provide to somebody, like, do you want to know what the average days on the market is in Old Hickory, Tennessee for single family homes in the last 5 years? Do you want to see how that's changed or something like that? But any one of those criteria that's in the statistics, you could use as a lead magnet and have a report for it. How to stage your house for a quick sale is an easy one. Top 10 improvements that will make you the most money. This is a good seller magnet, lead magnet, because the seller wants to know if I want to fix my house up, where do I spend the money that's going to be the best spend, that's going to make me the most money. Checklist for prepping your house to get it ready for sale. We should all have one of those. That includes your landscaping, organizing your closets, scrubbing your baseboards, cleaning your mini blinds, your ceiling fans, those kinds of things that our sellers forget in their weekly cleaning or monthly cleaning or whatever, that we want to make sure don't get overlooked when they're getting their house ready. Recently reduced prices list. This is a good one for buyers because every buyer wants a deal, right? And this is a good one that you can do a search in RealTracs that basically shows any price reductions, right? So it could basically be your hot list for a specific city. Do you want to see which houses had a price drop last weekend? Contact me for the list, DM me for the list, or fill out this form and you can get the list in return, right? A list of homes in a specific neighborhood or area under 350. This is a good one because people, instead, you could do this two different ways. You could do under a certain price range. You could do for around $2,800 a month. You could do a payment instead. This would target renters. But think about a list of homes that are for sale with certain search criteria. A market analysis for the neighborhood. This is probably the one that I see most agents use the most, that is the least effective. Just telling you, it's on the list because people think of it, but I'm just telling you is the least effective because nobody really signs up for it. I'm just telling you. So you can do, hey, find out what your house is worth today with a box for them to put in their address and you can give them their home valuation, but it's the one that has the least amount of signups. I'm just telling you. So a home buyer's guide or a home seller's guide. A credit plan. So somebody knows their credit is poor and you're trying to help them get their credit up. You could devise a plan for them that says, start by paying off your, start with $1,000 and pay off your lowest balance or your highest interest rate first, or, there's also some other credit cards that are called like self-pay or things like that, that you can open up for yourself. You can also get someone with better credit to make you an authorized user on your card. That will boost your credit score too. But give them like 5 or 6 tips on how to boost their credit score to get ready to buy a house. That's a big one, okay? Questions to ask during your next home inspection. This one is a little bit further in the process, so I don't love this one as much. I prefer to use the most common things that I see that come up in a home inspection, because that's the kind of information that a buyer is going to absorb. Like before they hire you, they're going to want to know about this inspection process. What are the most common things that come up in an inspection report, right? The home valuation we talked about. 7 questions you must ask before hiring a Nashville agent. I think this is very important that you include the Nashville part or the Nolensville part or Spring Hill or whatever part of town you live in, because that's going to help you with your search engine optimization. It's going to help it be found. And then the other part is you can make the list or the questions specific to your area, right? Like how much do you know about the urban core? How much do you know about HPRs? Those kinds of things that are very specific to our market in Nashville, but maybe not in Spring Hill or Thompson Station or something like that, right? 10 best upgrades to spend your money on in the new construction purchase. This one is one of my favorite ones. Will also get you some people who are interested in new construction building. So basically, where are the best places that they should spend their money on upgrades, right? Hardwood flooring in the kitchens, like spending their money on upgraded cabinets may not be the necessarily best thing to do because a buyer's not giving you more money for that, but they like that you have hardwood floors. They like that you have granite. They like that you have tile in the wet areas, right? They may like a bathtub instead of a walk-in shower, but you go through and identify where should they spend their money in new construction that gives you the best bang for the buck, right? A staging guide is important for a lot of people because they don't have design skills. Not everybody is Magnolia Table, Joanna Gaines, and they need some help on how to make a room look better. So maybe you can help them that way. Neighborhood reports, school reports. So, each school system has report cards, right? Like they have an overall report on the school. You could put together a real pretty, and you could even get from the school system probably some collateral material about the school system that you could use as a lead magnet that people could ask you for. Do you want to know more about Nolensville schools? Contact me today for a free report on the ins and outs of Nolensville schools, right? You could have a list of the various elementary, middle, and high schools. You could have their ratings. You could have their student population, their teacher to student population, whatever that is. But schools report is a great one. Crime report is something you can easily download. My favorite restaurants, and I would use Pocket Neighborhoods. So my favorite restaurants in downtown Nashville, in the Gulch, in West Nashville, in Franklin. You can have a list of your top 5 restaurants in each area, right? You could even put together a restaurant guide for newcomers to Nashville and have 5 from each area and put it all together in one little ebook, right? You should have a relocation guide. I think that was one of the things that was on our collateral list, Kim, that we were talking about. We have one as a team, but your relocation guide is definitely one that is a big lead magnet that you're going to get a lot of people to ask for, especially if they're relocating from another state. They want to know what's in your relocation guide, right? What's in that packet? Now, when I do this one, I do ask for a formal address because I mail them a physical relocation package that has some of the local magazines like The Scene. It has the magazines from the grocery store that you usually see at Whole Foods or whatever. I go and grab some of that. I get maybe a map from the Chamber of Commerce or some other tourist attraction things. Just think about yourself when you're moving to a new area. You're scared, but you're also excited to learn what's there. And so anytime I've ever moved from one state to another, I was so excited to gather all the tangible things that I could just look through and leaf through all the pamphlets and magazines and things that I could find. So on that one, I do ask for their name and their mailing address so that I can mail them a physical relocation package in the mail. Okay. But you can also have it as a PDF. A for sale by owner toolkit. What might a for sale by owner need in order to successfully sell their home? This could be as simple as like a sign-in sheet for their open house. You could actually do a flyer for their house in Canva in 5 minutes using their pictures from Zillow. You could have, some checklist for them on how to stage and get their house ready, but you could probably have 3 or 4 documents that you put together in one little package that could be a for sale by owner toolkit. Okay. And then you're going to hit them with why would you sell for yourself when you could pay my fee and still net more money, right? But that's another class. You with me? Home selling checklist. So that's obviously like your process, the home selling process. Your seller's toolkit is the same. That's going to be preparing the house for sale, what to expect when you're showing. It's going to be an organization and a cleaning checklist, a packing checklist, a list of vendors they might need. Is that all making sense to you all? What I would put in there? 3 simple strategies that will help you ... And I'm not going to finish the sentence for you. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of your buyers or your sellers or your investors. Don't forget them, Kim, too. That 3 simple strategies that will help you enter the investment market, right? Or enter the market as an investor, right? You can come up with 3 simple strategies that will help you ... to the end of time. Think about what your buyers, sellers, clients might need and come up with 3 simple strategies that they could do that with. You could offer tickets to a live event. So I might offer 2 tickets to the Air and Space Museum, right? Enter to win 2 free tickets to the Air and Space Museum, courtesy of the Music City Experts team of Benchmark. So people are going to enter their email address to try to win the tickets, right? You with me? It doesn't have to cost you $1 million. I didn't say tickets to Taylor Swift. I said to a live event or something, or some tourist attraction, right? A quiz or a survey is another good one. Should you buy or should you rent is an easy survey that you could do, or a quiz. You can ask certain questions to say whether or not, are you planning on leaving the area in the next couple of years? Then maybe you shouldn't buy. Are you in this particular income bracket? Do you need a tax deduction? You can write a quiz that determines whether or not they should buy or sell. I've seen other quizzes that are like, what type of home should I buy? And you ask certain questions and then the end of the quiz, but that is all on quiz building. But quizzes or surveys are pretty good examples as well. Now, I'm going to go kind of quickly through this part. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to actually, before I go any further, I'm going to actually send you guys the link to this presentation so that you can really dive deeper into this if you want to later over the sponsored ads, because the sponsored ads part is 100% way over a lot of people. You guys are very intelligent. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But we're going to get into some technical stuff here that I don't really want to get too far into because it's a lot to learn. I warned you guys about that. And I just want to make sure that you have the access to the information if you want it. But I don't want to go into the ins and outs of all of it, if that makes any sense. Okay. So I've given you 2 links. One is to the presentation that we're on right now. The other one is to my list of lead magnets. Don't you dare go looking at that list of lead magnets right now while I'm talking, because then you'll just stop listening to me. Okay. So can you tell I've been a classroom teacher before? I'm just telling you, I already know what's going to happen. If you give somebody something that's really interesting to them, they will tune you out and go look at that and not listen to you anymore. So don't look at that yet, but you have access to it. Okay. So let's talk about the components of a sponsored ad. The components typically have some kind of image or video to catch somebody's attention. I will tell you right now that if you are doing seller lead magnets or seller sponsored ads where you're trying to get their information so that you can, like they're asking for a home valuation, the most impactful image that you can use for that is a map. Don't use the front of a house. Okay, I'm just telling you from statistics and data, I will tell you the most effective is not a picture of a front of a house. If you're asking sellers, do you want to know how much your home is worth? Don't use that. Use a map. Okay. It should have a headline. It should have a post text, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. It should have a call to action button. It should have a description of what you're actually what the ad is. You should be trying to get comments, likes, or engagement. You should have a large audience, or at least exposure to an audience, and you have to have some type of budget to do a sponsored ad, right? And Kim, thanks for telling me, sweet love. Hold on. Kim said that she cheated. I'm just kidding. She said that it was the same link. So hang on 1 second. It's always the way. All right, please hold. Because I want to make sure you get this. So why won't it let me? Okay, I'll send the other one to you in a minute. But hopefully the one I sent to you is actually the presentation and not the 75 list. But I will make sure you get the other one. Okay, y'all just bear with me for a second. All right. So you do have to have some kind of budget, and that's where, here's the other part I will tell you about sponsored ads. You can plow through your budget on sponsored ads very quickly and get no return on your money and have the wrong audience looking at your stuff very easily, which is why I'm telling you, if you don't have a big budget to begin with, you don't have money to test this out, you might want to hire a third-party company or use a templated site that will allow you to create sponsored ads with a click of a couple buttons so that you know your stuff is getting in front of the right audience and you're not wasting your money. And I hate to say this too, but there are agents I know, unfortunately, that are snakes, and they will click on your sponsored ad just to spend your money. So like if you're doing pay-per-click and you're spending $5 on Nashville real estate, which is insane because that's way too expensive per lead, and you're spending $5 on that, I've seen agents click on it just so that that no longer shows up and that they're blowing through your ad budget. and you're not actually getting a lead from it. I know none of us are like that. I know anybody that is, I would consider a friend is not like that, but I have seen agents do it, and I'm just telling you it's disgusting, but they do it. Okay. So I want you to be careful. Remember, the purpose of your image or video is to capture someone's attention. Again, if you don't have a good image there, your ad is going to fail. Remember, it's supposed to get them to stop scrolling and to take notice of what your ad is, which is why I'm telling you a map is usually more effective than a picture of a static house, or a little video is more effective than a picture of a static house. Okay. Your headline is the second most important part of your ad. It's large, it's clearly visible, and it should be impactful. This is where you want to be creative in your sponsored ads, and you want to make sure that you're using a headline that says exactly what they're going to get if they download it. Like, do you want to know where my favorite places to get tacos are in Nashville, right? That would be 100% like a very impactful headline, but you want to choose your words very carefully. The next one, this is just a screenshot of where the headline is. This is an example of a sponsored ad. It's going to let you summarize what people are, what the objective is. It should be attention grabbing. It should encourage people to take a second look. This no BS guide to better Instagram ads is an attention getting hook. Yours might be the no BS guide to buying real estate in Nashville, something like that. Depends on if you want to be edgy or not, but the point is, does it grab someone's attention? Okay. Post text is above your image. It's what's called the post text. You can add up to 500 characters there. If your post text is longer, it'll be hidden by a see more link. We've all run into some sponsored ads where we have to click the see more to read the second half or whatever. You really want to try to avoid that. And that's going to be the area right here in red that's underneath your headline here. And then this is going to be your post text here, which is, we'll be honest with you, blah, blah, blah. And you'll see the see more. It means that it went over the number in characters. Everybody with me there? All right. Your call to action button. These are pre-created buttons that Facebook allows you to choose, and Instagram, it's not just Facebook, but they'll allow you to select already pre-designed call to actions. And it will ask you, if you go into your Facebook ad manager, it'll ask you which call to action button do you want to use for that. Some of these will say, call us, text us, chat with us, apply now, download now. You can make the call to action button be whatever you want it to be, but it should be equaling what you're asking them to do. So if it's downloading something, I would select download. You don't want it to say contact us and then you take them somewhere else where they have to fill out something. It should be what you're asking them to do. This is what the download or call to action button looks like. So it would say down here, chat with us, visit our website, whatever you're wanting them to do. Your description text appears below the headline and above the call to action. It is the least noticeable ad text after the link text. So no one's really reading this down here. They're going to read this top part. They're going to read this headline. But a lot of people are not reading this part right here. So don't spend a lot of time crafting what that is. It's really not the part. It's just reinforcing your call to action. The comments, likes, and engagements are an important part of your ad. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed, but you probably will now. It's like if I told you I was trying to buy a yellow car, all you would see would be yellow cars everywhere. This is the very similar thing. Now that we're talking about sponsored ads, the next time you're on Facebook, you're going to notice all the sponsored ads and take notice about how they're crafted and what they use. Have you ever read comments on a sponsored ad? I do. Sometimes, like, it depends on what the thing is that caught my attention, but sometimes I'll read whether or not the person actually got the item that they was promised, because I see a lot of times people will say, download this free thing. And then I read the comments and it says, I did, and I didn't get it. Where is it? When should I expect this? And so that tells me, don't bother putting my email address in it. I'm not going to get it. Right. Sometimes I'll read the comments and the people will say, oh my gosh, this was so helpful. I got a lead off of this, or I did this, or whatever it is. But sometimes the comments are really important. If you are running a sponsored ad and someone comments on it, it's important for you to actually respond to their comment. That will help you get it'll help your sponsored ad be seen more because it's been clicked on and commented on by somebody. So you actually want people to go to your sponsored ad and comment on it or like it or engage with it because that will help it be seen. Everybody with me there? All right. This is just showing where the comments are. They would appear below. It does say, comment on your post at the very top. It's an easy way to get more information into your ad. So you posted it, but then you also went in and put a comment, which is going to help you add more information than the characters that are allowed in the ad. Your advertising placement affects how your ad appears. What I mean by that is different Facebook ad placements change the content structure, how it's viewed. And what I mean by that is this something that's viewed on a desktop or is it on a phone? Because sometimes it'll appear on the side of the screen, depending on the type of ad you're running. And sometimes it looks different on your desktop than it does on your phone, right? In feed placement, this would be on a mobile phone. There's going to be some slight variations. Some things might not fit the way they did on your desktop, and so the words might wrap around. You might not like how it looks on the mobile. So you want to check to make sure it looks the way you want it to on both versions of your ad. In feed placement, just like I said, this is going to show up in your feed, and we've all seen sponsored ads by now. It just looks like another post, except for it will say the word sponsored underneath it. The right-hand column is actually, this placement removes even more content from appearing. So the image might be skewed. It might be less text available. Those are going to be the sponsored ads that you see on the right-hand side, not in your feed. Okay. And this is just showing you what it looks like on the right-hand side, because that's if you're viewing Facebook or Instagram on a computer, which no one's viewing Instagram on a computer, but you might be on Facebook on a computer instead of your phone. So it's just showing you where the various sponsored ads might appear. Instagram is mobile only placement. It's not going to appear on your desktop. You need to use the right size images for Instagram. Canva will let you download and change and resize your images. You can specifically say, I want this for an Instagram post or a Facebook post, and it will adjust the sizes that are required. I cannot stand, it's just one of the things that drives me crazy, is when someone posts the same thing on Facebook and Instagram, but they don't alter the size of the Instagram and their image is all skewed. So I can tell that they just downloaded it as a Facebook image and they tried to put that same image on Instagram. If you're doing that from your phone will automatically resize the image. If you're uploading it, a lot of times you don't have to worry about that. But it's where I typically see somebody is using the Facebook business manager or ad manager, and they just upload one picture from their computer and are trying to use it on both accounts. It does not auto size. Okay. I can tell I'm losing a lot of you because this is not as interesting, and I totally get it, but we're going to fly through the rest of it. When you do run, and this is the part that I said we're going to start to get over people's heads. When you do run sponsored ads, you have what's called a campaign, and then you would have an ad set, and then you have an ad that goes underneath that. The reason you're seeing 2 ad sets on this graphic and 4 ads is because you can have multiple variations of your ad for different audiences. You can also have different ad sets that are for different audiences. So one might be people that live near your store. The other person might be someone who just indicated that they were interested in your store, but maybe they're not geographically located. The issue is that most agents have a hard time just doing one of each. And this graphic is showing you multiple variations, which is way over a lot of people's heads. Okay. Way over most people's technical skill. And I don't need you to be a professor in this. I just need you to understand you run campaigns. Under each campaign, there's an ad set. And under each ad set, there are individual ads that you would run in that ad set. An ad set contains 1 or more ads. You'll define your targeting, your budget, your schedule, bidding, and placement at the ad set level. So I'm going to go back to that screen here. Here is where I'm going to determine my budget and my audience, and then I can change those parameters by having variations of that ad below. You will use an audience manager tool. And here's the other thing I will tell you about sponsored ads is that we used to in real estate be able to, like I used to actually be able to set an audience that was very close to who my target client is. Like I could pick demographic information about their salary, where they work, where they live, their ages. I could used to be able to even go down to their sex. I could go down to like all of their interests. Well, Facebook got sued and they have changed a lot of those parameters to now make it so that no one is being discriminated against in their sponsored ads. And so that means, which I understand, but for as an advertiser, it's much harder for me to get the most use for my money to make sure that it gets in front of the right person. For example, if you had an ad budget of $1,000 and you spent $1,000 creating these beautiful campaigns and these wonderful ads, and then you found out that that was in front of 800 realtors, you would be pissed because those aren't your target people, right? So I want you to be very cautious and careful. If you're going to spend your money, don't just go throw money at an ad. Don't boost your post and spend money on boosting posts. That's a waste of money. I'll just tell you right now, don't do it. And I just want you to, if you're choosing your audience, I want you to cast the net that is going to likely attract the most people that you would want to work with. I would tell you should probably start more hyper local and work your way out, because I want you to think about your budget. Somebody who lives in Old Hickory is probably going to want to see more information related to Old Hickory stuff, or people considering moving to Old Hickory, than someone who is in Ohio who doesn't even know about Old Hickory. They have no idea what Old Hickory is, right? So I just want you to be real cautious and careful. Cast your net close to you. Stick with people who are nearby, unless your stuff is specific relocation based. If the stuff you're giving away is to attract people moving here, then try to get it in front of the people in states where you know they're moving from. Does that make sense? Okay, I just don't want you wasting your money on audiences that are not going to call you to buy or sell a house. And that's what most agents do. They spend their budget. They don't know how to define the audience, and the way that Facebook changes it so much that it's very easy to waste your money putting your ads in front of other realtors, which unless you're getting relocation business from those realtors, that's not helpful. Okay. And you don't want those slimy realtors clicking on your shit and wasting your money. Okay. So location-based targeting, like I said, you can identify the country, the state, the counties, a designated market area. If I want to see all of Greater Nashville, you can pick specific cities, zip codes, or specific address radiuses. And I don't know if this is still the case, that you can do that. It used to be. You would have to check into that. But again, I don't claim to be an expert. So, and then just type in the regions that you're trying to get that in front of. Demographic is the part that's changed so much. We used to have all this information available to us, like, I mean, right down to somebody who was interested in HGTV, like that might be somebody I would put some investor sponsored ads in front of, right? Or something like that. But now a lot of these demographic based targeting options are no longer there. So I just want you to be aware that you might not be able to search by a lot of some of these things anymore. But you can think about the demographics in terms of how you design your ad. Who do you want it to appeal to? You might not be able to select that audience, but you can very much be cognizant of the age and gender and language and like occupation and things like that of people that you're trying to attract. For example, I used to sell to doctors, lawyers, and Marine Corps fighter pilots. Those were my 3 top clients in South Carolina. So I would have like specific targeted things for doctors, right? So for example, it might be, you know, here's a list of common business deductions for pediatricians or whatever, like very specific to those jobs. Or even, you know, are you a doctor moving to Beaufort, South Carolina? That's who I want. I want a doctor. Right? So it's very specific in my advertising, very specific in my marketing, But it wasn't necessarily an audience I could select, but that's who my ad was geared towards, right? So most of the people, I was only trying to attract the people I wanted. That's a very specific example. You can be a little bit more generic, but I'm just trying to tell you, the more specific you are in keeping in mind your demographic, the more likely your ad is actually going to be looked at by the person you're trying to attract. Okay. Behavior based. So you can target people by events they like, people who attended a beer festival. You might want to offer a list of your favorite breweries to those people, something like that. People who attended a clean up the river event from a charity that you're following, they might want your list of kayak drop-ins, right? So you can analyze what people like on Facebook in their profiles. You can choose some behavior-based targeting to put your ads in front of as well. Custom audiences are going to be your most high value audience, but they're going to be also the ones that are more expensive. You're going to pay more per lead in your custom audiences. Here's one other thing I want to tell you about Facebook. You can group your friends together in lists, right? So I can go through my friends list and I could put every realtor I know on my friends list in one specific group. And then when I run sponsored ads, I can specifically target to that group. So you can categorize your friends list by, and then you can put sponsored messages in front of those groups. Okay. But you have to actually break down your friends list and put them into groups in order to do that. Okay. Your budget, we did that behavior based. Custom audiences we talked about. Your budget, you're going to have a daily budget. Now here's what I want you to know about your daily budget. Facebook will spend this sum on delivering your ads every day during your campaign. And you're telling Facebook to get as much money worth as you possibly can. If my budget is only $5 a day, I want you to get in front of as many people you can for $5 a day. Sometimes Facebook will spot high potential opportunities for you, and it will spend up to 25% more than your daily budget and then lower the spend on the next day if they see an opportunity where they can get in front of more people on a specific day. This is actually a good thing for you. It means Facebook knows their own algorithm and they know where's the best place to spend your money to get the maximum views for you. Remember, they want you to keep spending money to advertise with them. So the more impressions they can get for you, the more they show you that your ad is working, if that makes sense. The more leads they can generate for you, the more you decide, oh, that worked, I'm going to do it again, right? So they know how to spend your money and they do it in a way that is optimal for the maximum results that you're trying to achieve. But they'll also take your money and use all of your budget very quickly because you put $25 a day. You know, they're not guaranteeing you 25 leads. They're just guaranteeing that you're going to get a certain number of impressions for $25 a day, right? So be aware of that. I am going to go back and get you the correct link for the lead magnets, because I know that's what you want to know. And we're going to go back and talk about those for a second. Where's my Zoom? Try this one for me and let me know if that works. I'll let you look at it now. Yay, it worked. Okay, perfect. So let me go back real quick and I just want to talk really quickly about a couple of these and then I will let you go on with your life. This is not an all-encompassing. Remember, I want you to think of what does your target client want help with? What do they need from you? What information do you have that they want, that they're willing to give you their information in exchange for it? Okay. Claire, I will get you the tacos list because I know Bonnie wants it too. Don't worry. I've got it. I actually joined a Facebook group because I love tacos so much. There is a Facebook group that's owned by another realtor that is called, hold on, you're going to love it. Let me just look it up real quick. It's actually called Taco Support Group, I think. Please hold. It is, oh my God, I can't find it so fast. See.
Is it Monica? Monica
Tennis-
Ristretto?
No, it's Tennessee Taco Support Group is the name of it. And it's got like 4,500 members in it, just so you know. But they feature tacos all over Tennessee. And so it's real easy. You can grab a list of your favorite. But I do have my favorite 5 taco spots, which I will email to all of you. Okay. But this is the thing I want you to think of. What information do you have about your local area, about buying or selling real estate, about investing, about selling for sale by owner? What information do you have that somebody thinks is necessary and needed, right? About our area. It doesn't have to be real estate. It could be about our area, right? Tacos, about kayaks, about dog friendly, whatever, right? So, here on Incentives we talked about a lot of these. So I'm going to scroll down to the other page. A list of common tax deductions for new homeowners is a good one. Best hiking trails, kayaks we talked about. This is a good one. Questions to ask your lender before you fill out a loan application. This is a good one because a lot of people don't like giving, they've already talked to 2 lenders, and so they don't want to talk to a third because they might do another credit pull. So this is just a list of things that your lender is going to ask you, a list of things that you want to know. How do they operate? Do they sell my loan? What's their closing process look like? Is it locally underwritten or is it underwritten somewhere else? Think of the things that might go wrong in the lending process and come up with a list of questions. Common things found on a home inspection report and their approximate cost. If you've been selling real estate for 5 minutes, I'll tell you right now, the TPR valve on a water heater is missing on every house you inspect. The anti-tip bracket on a stove is missing on every house you inspect. Promise you. About 75% of the houses that you inspect, the dishwasher loop does not make a U properly under the sink, right? These are just common things that I know because I've seen a million home inspection reports, and they're the same things that come up all the time, right? So you should identify, if you've ever taken a class from me, and I'm just going to pause you for a second on this content because this will help you. I have something I call the Fab 5 list. The Fab 5 is something that I educate every buyer who's buying a house from me that before we get a home inspection, I want them to know what the Fab 5 is, and that when we get an inspection, we are looking for things that are wrong with the Fab 5, because these are typically things that cost you the most amount of money. If something comes up on the report that's not in the Fab 5, it doesn't necessarily mean so, but it typically is going to be cosmetic in nature. Those Fab 5 are the roof, foundation, plumbing and electrical are in one category, HVAC, and safety. Now, there are lots of other things that come up on a home inspection that might not fit into those Fab 5, but these Fab 5 are the things that most buyers would terminate a contract over. They're too expensive, right? Or they're extensive to fix, or they're concerning, right? So typically what I tell my buyer on the front end is, when we get this inspection report, we're going to look at it and we're going to look for things wrong with the Fab 5. Anything outside of those Fab 5, we might still be able to ask the seller to repair it, but I want you to know that it might not be something we're going to terminate the contract over. Okay? That's really important, because otherwise, guess what they want to do? They want to terminate the contract over a 50-cent light plate cover. Are you kidding me? I'll get you one. So I want you to set your expectation on the front end, but this could be a great lead magnet that you use. What are common things that come up on an inspection? Or here's the Fab 5 list of things we're going to be looking for in an inspection, right? Guide to winning multiple offers. 7 things to consider before writing an offer on a house. This one's easy. The neighborhood, crime, right? Location. What else might you consider before? Schools, right? You might consider amenities. Does the neighborhood have a pool or playground or something like that? You can come up with 7 things that a buyer might look at, right? Is it in a flood zone? Those kinds of things. My favorite pet-friendly patios. Claire and I were on the same page there. I'm just trying to be on a patio with my dog and a margarita. 7 best paint colors for 2023. This is the easy one. You can go to Sherwin-Williams or any of the paint stores and ask, look for their most popular colors for the year. They always publish those on their website. You can create a palette in Canva and put little slicks of the paint colors with the names on it. That is a really easy one that you'll get a lot of people because everybody wants to know those. Nashville's top 10 attractions that only locals know about that you have to visit. And I want to teach you very specifically Nashville. So like my girl in Oklahoma City, hers might be in Edmond. Like I want you to use the city town that you want to specialize or that you want to pinpoint or give information about, because that's going to help in your search engine optimization. It's going to help it show up in searches. If you did a YouTube video, it's going to come up because you used the word Nashville in it, right? Remember, I told you can take this one content and use it 13 ways. Okay. The home buying process we talked about. New construction builders with inventory right now. So do you want your buyer to have to go around to 15 different new construction sites to see what they have available? Or do you want to be the source of the information? And then you want to remind them, I can help you buy any new construction house in Middle Tennessee, right? My list of discounts for my business referral partners. So I have business relationships with an ice cream shop, a coffee shop, a massage therapist, a nail tech, whatever. And I put together a list of discounts that these people have all provided for my clients. If you want my discounts, give me your information and I'll give you my list. You with me? Okay. Budget workshop and tracker for saving for a down payment. This is a big one for apartment dwellers, right? This is a big one for first-time home buyers. This is a big one for anybody who's trying to buy for the first time, is let me give you a budget to help you save for a down payment. And then there's tons of trackers that you color in that when you save $50 or $100, you shade in the house each time you save a certain amount, and it allows you to visually see. Those things are free and people love them, right? But it's again, just a way that you can help people start getting ready to buy a house, okay? The rent versus buy worksheet, that's a no-brainer. Your client should be able to, your lender should be able to help you come up with some stuff to put on that. A list of free stuff on your birthday. I love this one because I'm a sucker for a free something on my birthday. So I want a list of all the local places that I know give out a free ice cream, or a free cookie, or a free meal, or something for my dog, or whatever the hell it is. I want a list of free stuff I can get on my birthday. Date night ideas are always cute. So I love this. So I would have one for each city. Franklin date night ideas for Nolansville, and just come up with like 3 or 4 things they can do. They can go to a coffee shop, a bookstore, and a restaurant, or whatever. You can come up with 3 or 4 things to do in each city and call those date night ideas for that town. And again, that one content, date night ideas, is one that I could use for a reel. I could use for a blog. I can use for a YouTube video. I can use for a PDF. There's so many things I could do with that, right? List of dog parks in Franklin, list of distilleries in Nashville. So that would be another one. There's a lot of local brewery places or local distilleries that you might want to put point. Guide to getting started as an investor. There's a lot of people who want to invest and don't know how. House hunting checklist. What kinds of things do you need to pay attention to when you are looking at houses? Branded local sports calendar. Maybe you're a huge soccer fan, right? And you want to get the soccer club's schedule and you want to brand that to you and get people to ask you for a copy of the schedule or a Titan schedule. If you don't want to use these, now I'm going to tell you legally, you're not supposed to use their, it's copyrighted by them and you're not supposed to use it or advertise it, but maybe you do the local high school's football schedule or something like that. Or you use, the AAA base, the Sounds or something. They're probably not going to come after you, but the Titans might come after you, or the Preds, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe there's some local sports teams that you could do. Packing and moving checklist, like you guys were talking about. My favorite singer-songwriter locations in Nashville is a good one. Like, because not everyone likes honky tonks. Not everyone likes to go on Broadway. So where can you go hear live music in Franklin, right? Where can you go hear live music in Nolensville? Are there little spots around town? List of single-story homes for sale in Brentwood. The reason I wanted to go over this with you is because some of these are very specific. If you download a list of single-story homes for sale, that typically means you probably have a 2-story house that you want to sell, right? Not always, but typically. I am thinking the next few that I have here are specific life-changing events that prompt a home buyer sale. Okay, so moving from a 2-story house to a single family home is going to be a life change usually. Like maybe you're an empty nester or you're aging or whatever the things are. But that's a good one. Renovation cheat sheet. Again, where should I spend my money if I'm going to do some reno? My predictions about the real estate market. This is a good one because guess what? People think the market's going to crash and I want them to know it's not. So download my predictions or message me and I'll send you a link to my YouTube video about my predictions for what's going to happen in the real estate market. A list of tools that every first-time home buyer needs in their toolbox. Y'all think this is self-explanatory or that it's like everyone should know what they need, but I promise you, these kids don't know how to turn a screwdriver or what the difference in the screwdrivers are. So you want to give them a list of you need a hammer, and here's the specific type of hammer you might need. You might need some nails. You need a Phillips and a flathead. You might need an Allen wrench. You might need blah, 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 a tape measure, level. You can make a quick list of things that if you were buying somebody their first toolbox, just for general things around the house, what would you put in it, right? That's also a great closing gift. If you have never thought of that for your first time home buyer, that's a home run, slam dunk closing gift. And if you're smart, you will put your logo on it with a vinyl sticker so that it's 100% deductible because it's been marketed, right? Anyway, full of ideas. Freshmen in college, here's the life-changing events. Freshmen in college packing list. So your boy's going off to school and he needs to know what he should take for his dorm room. You can put together an easy packing list for him or things that a freshman in college might need. And again, if a kid's going off to college, what does that typically indicate? Sometimes those people are ready to downsize. You got it? Graduation party checklist, same thing. They're graduating from high school. They're moving out of the nest, right? So maybe I need to help you come up with how to prepare for his graduation party or her graduation party. List of memory care facilities in Franklin. Again, I went specific in the city. You might do all over the Nashville area to have a more comprehensive list. But memory care facilities is a big deal. As populations start to age, we're dealing with a lot of memory care issues and people need to know where they should investigate, right? A wedding checklist. Again, that's a life event that people buy or sell a house. Are you getting married? Did you get engaged over Here's a good one right off of Valentine's Day. Because people are dumb and they get engaged on Valentine's Day. I don't really mean dumb, but I'm just saying, that's kind of not real special. It's on Valentine's Day, I guess. To me, it's not unique. But did you get engaged over Valentine's Day? Reach out to me for my free wedding checklist, right? To help you plan and prepare your wedding. Okay. And then preparing for your new baby. All the things you might need as a first-time mom, first-time mom or dad, as first-time parents. What do you need? Those are all life-changing lead magnets that then are purposeful because you know that gives you some reason to follow up with them about a life-changing event they're having. That make sense? All right, real quick, I want to tell you, so what happens if I don't have KV Core and I can't just create a landing page where it says enter your information and I'll spit this PDF out to you, right? What I don't want you to do, because you're going to misunderstand what a lead magnet is if you do this. Don't just put your content. I know I told you can use one content 13 ways. You can. But if you're trying to get leads out of it and you just post the PDF or the graphic, why would anyone give you their information? You already gave it to them. You following me? So you need to put DM me or comment below the word baby and I will send it to you, right? If you don't have an automation like KV Core that you can just upload the PDF and they get it right away, then you have to use other tactics to say, DM me, send me a private message, send me an email, comment the word baby below, and I'll send you the thing. But you've got to have some way for them to reach out to you to get the information so that you're not just giving it to them for free. Okay. Then you can use the content the other ways. You can still go make your YouTube video and tell them all about it if you'd like. All the other ways I told you to use this one piece of content, you still can use. I just don't want you posting the checklist or posting the graphic and giving it to them for free, because then you're not going to generate leads from it. Does that make sense? Be smart. Remember, it's in exchange for something. I want your email address to give you the thing that I have. Does that help? Okay. Next week, we're going to do event planning, and I'm going to give you a checklist for putting an event, the types of events that are the most effective for you. We're going to brainstorm a bunch of events that I think are my favorite events for loving on your clients, generating new business, making sure that you're seen as the real estate go-to person. And we're going to talk about how to pull those off, how to get sponsors to help you pay for it so you're not paying for it all by yourself, and what that looks like, determining your budget, finding a location, those kinds of things. But that's what we're going to talk about next week on Monday at 10. Okay. All right. I hope this was helpful to you. I am looking forward to seeing the lead magnets that you create or the ideas that you have them. You can always go back to the RECOACHCRATE group. And Bonnie, I'll add you to that group just so you know. But you can always go back to that group and say, hey, I tried such and such lead magnet and this is how it worked for me. Or what do you guys think about this lead magnet? But I would love for you guys to interact with each other there and share some of the ideas that you've come from. Just make yourself a checklist. And then when you have some admin time, you just start creating and make them pretty, brand them to you, and start putting them out in the world. But remember, you have things to provide to people, whether you are the community connector and you're highlighting places in your community, or you are the expert in real estate and you're giving them information. Remember, everything does not have to be real estate related. It has to be something somebody needs and wants. Okay. Y'all go out and kill it. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Okay.
Thanks, Laura.
You're very welcome.